All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to put some major leadership stereotypes under the microscope. We're diving into a really cool study that questions everything we think we know about doing business in the US compared to the Middle East. It's a classic case of common assumptions versus cold, hard data.
So let's just start here. When you picture a business meeting in, say, Lebanon, and then one in the United States, what's the vibe you imagine? I bet something popped into your head right away, right? We all kind of have these built-in ideas.
And chances are, those ideas look a little something like this. The stereotype usually goes that in Lebanon, it's all about building personal relationships first. You build trust, you connect, then you talk business. Whereas in the US, it's often seen as the opposite. Efficiency is king. Let's get straight to the point and get the task done.
But it's never that simple, is it? The world is way more nuanced than that. So back in 2009, a group of researchers decided to actually test this stereotype. And trust me, what they found is probably not what you're expecting.
Okay, so to really get what this study is about, we need to break down two really important ideas, what we mean by high context and low context cultures.
So first up, you've got high context cultures. Think of places like Lebanon. Here, communication is, it's layered. A ton of the meaning is found between the lines. It's in the nonverbal cues, the shared history, the relationship you have with the person. What's not said can be the most important part of the conversation.
And check this out. Here's a perfect example. The phrase, inshallah. Now, you might translate it as God willing, but it's so much more than that. It's packed with cultural meaning about intention and commitment and even fate. It's a beautiful piece of high-context communication. On the flip side, you have low-context cultures, like in the US. Here, the name of the game is clarity. Be direct, be explicit. The goal is to leave very little room for interpretation. You say what you mean, and you mean what you say.
So, with that cultural backdrop, how in the world did the study actually measure leadership styles?
Well, they boiled it down to two main things, task focus and relationship focus. First, they looked at task orientation. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's that get-it-done attitude. A leader who's high on this is all about the goals, the structure, the plan. They're telling you the what, when, where, and how.
And then you've got relationship orientation. This is the people side of the equation. It's all about building teamwork, making sure everyone feels supported, and having that two-way communication street open. It's about the team vibe.
All right, let's get to the juicy part, the experiment itself. The researchers got a bunch of working adults from both Lebanon and the US and had them fill out a questionnaire that scored them on both of those leadership styles.
So, quick gut check. Based on everything we've just said, Lebanon being high context and relationship focused, the US being low context and task focused, what would you predict? You'd probably bet that the Lebanese group scores higher on relationships and the US group scores higher on tasks. Makes sense, right?
Well, about that prediction.
This is where things get really, really interesting. The data had a few surprises in store, and the first one was actually within the Lebanese group.
So first up, and this was a bit of a curveball, inside the Lebanese sample, the women actually scored significantly higher on being task-oriented than the men did.
I mean, you can see it right here in the numbers. This finding alone kind of starts to poke holes in some other common stereotypes about gender roles in the workplace in that part of the world.
Okay, so that gender finding was pretty fascinating. But what about the main event, the big US versus Lebanon showdown? This is where everything we thought we knew gets flipped completely upside down.
Okay, first, let's look at task orientation. And yeah, just as the stereotype might suggest, the US respondents did score significantly higher. So at this point, you're probably thinking, okay, stereotyping holding up so far. But just wait.
And then, bam! This is the real shocker. Look at these relationship orientation scores. The American respondents didn't just score a little higher, they scored way higher than their Lebanese counterparts on the people-focused stuff too.
So let that sink in for a second. The group stereotyped as just being all about the task was actually more focused on both getting the job done and taking care of their people. The whole idea that one culture is just about tasks and the other is just about relationships, the data completely demolished it.
So, what do we do with this information? What does this massive reversal of our expectations actually tell us about leadership in the world today? Why does any of this matter?
Well, it tells us a few really crucial things. First off, these simple cultural boxes we try to put everyone in,
They're often just flat out wrong, especially in modern business. And second, it really suggests that things like modern business education, which really hammer home the importance of both people and performance, might be creating a new, more universal style of leadership that kind of transcends those old-school cultural norms.
And that leaves us with a really big question to chew on, doesn't it? In this super-connected world where managers from Beirut to Boston are reading the same books and taking the same MBA courses, are we getting to a point where the most important culture isn't our national one, but the shared culture of modern business itself?